Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Hanging Out for a Living. Today, we're beyond thrilled to be hosting a world-class leader, a LinkedIn powerhouse, and a global influencer, Mathew Worboys. He comes all the way to us from the United Kingdom, and so excited to have him here. Mathew, he's been voted among the top 40 CEOs globally on LinkedIn, named one of the top 10 LinkedIn coaches by Yahoo Finance, and featured as one of the top 50 rising content creators on LinkedIn. Mathew's accolades, I'm sure you'll agree, speak volumes about his mastery and influence. Also, we can't forget his impressive feat of being shortlisted 3 times for the prestigious, I can't even talk, Junior Nobel Prize. Through his exceptional work, Mathew and his team have been actually revolutionizing the way high-end professionals and entrepreneurs leverage their personal brand on LinkedIn, propelling them into the top 1% of their career or business field. So without further delay, let's delve into the exciting world of personal branding and LinkedIn mastery with Mathew Worboys. Welcome, Mathew.
Thank you so much, and thank you for that wonderful introduction. Really pleased to be here, and really looking forward to the conversation today. Thank you, Teresa.
Thank you for being accommodating with our time difference. So I'm in New York. As I said, Mathew is in the UK. So I have about a 5-hour time difference, and it's Friday as we're doing this. So Mathew, I think, is all not quite yet ready to head into weekend mode. So we have some questions, Mathew, that we'd like to ask you. So we'll dive right in.
Yep.
So Mathew, you've been incredibly successful in leveraging LinkedIn to boost personal brands. Can you share with us the key strategies or steps you would recommend for professionals wanting to maximize their presence on LinkedIn?
Absolutely. Well, it's a fantastic question, Teresa. And obviously, thanks again for having me here with the opportunity to talk about such an important topic, especially as we look forward to the future of marketing and all the developments that are currently taking place. As you kindly alluded to at the beginning there, I built my businesses on LinkedIn, and I know what a fantastic platform it can be to leverage one's personal brand. And there's certain things around that one must bear in mind. Content creation is particularly important. So in my own case, over the last year, I've generated something like 5 million views on my content alone. And similarly for clients of ours and accounts that we manage, both personal pages and company pages, we've generated millions of views for clients on their content. So we definitely know what it takes, and that ultimately is what a personal brand is all about. It's that thought leadership. It's about putting your knowledge out into the world. It's about leveraging your experiences, your content writing abilities. And often when we think about a brand, we think about things like the colors, the graphics, the logo, all those things that come at the top of the pyramid, as it were. But all those things are actually manifestations of something deeper, which is your philosophy, your mission, your big why, the things that you're wishing to achieve in the world. And the way that you can communicate those things is definitely through content. And for me, that's ultimately where your personal brand comes from. It comes from sharing those experiences, those insights, those market trends, those pieces of knowledge that other people might not have. And if you can successfully do that and become a thought leader in your space, then there's no need for you to start reaching out to people. People ultimately come to you, in my experience.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that. Many golden nuggets. I hope people are taking notes. My gosh, I've got my pen handy and I've got my paper right there. I'm not going to lie. So if I'm looking down, that's what I'm doing. On to question number 2. Being named one of the top 10 LinkedIn coaches by Yahoo Finance is really no small feat. Can you share the most common challenges your clients face while they're building their brand on LinkedIn? And how do you help them overcome those hurdles?
Hmm. Yeah, it's a great question. And it obviously nicely follows on from what I just mentioned there about that process of content creation, building that personal brand, trying to become a thought leader. And ultimately, our company that handles LinkedIn and LinkedIn account management for clients is called the LinkedIn Thought Leaders. And obviously, we put a lot of thought into that. And the reason being that we believe that that's the end of the spectrum where actually this process begins. You have to become a thought leader on LinkedIn before you can start converting clients, have the necessary brand awareness to start getting inbound inquiries. And often one of the problems is, to go to the heart of your question there, Teresa, is that a huge level of patience is required with this process. Often people think they can go from a cold start, they just start posting on LinkedIn, and they think that all of a sudden the world's going to be at their door asking, to be a client and to get your value. It takes time because these things are built on trust, they're built on rapport building, and you can't become a number one go-to influencer, thought leader, market leader within the space of a month or two. It takes several months of consistency to build your message, to put your knowledge out into the world. And once people have consumed that on a daily basis for a sustained period of time, you've won their trust without having to, pitch them in the DMs or try and sell to them. You're gaining that knowledge through your content, and you're building that rapport via putting your knowledge into the world. And if you can do that on a consistent basis and you can be patient enough, and I'm talking, months, years, of putting your personal brand out there into the world, if you do that consistently enough and you don't pull the plug on the process and get too frustrated or impatient or, think this is not going to
Oops.
be straight away. And they think, rather than trying to go through this laborious process of creating content on a daily basis and networking without selling to people, they'll think, oh, it's a lot quicker if I just go straight from A to B and try and pitch people. And they don't realize that actually on LinkedIn, sometimes you have to go slower in order to be able to go faster. So I'd say the biggest problem for clients and people that we see trying to grow their personal brand on LinkedIn is really having that patience there across time.
Absolutely. That building that know, like, and trust without being salesy, I
Mm,
think is just so important. And like you said, it takes time. It really it's like you meet somebody for the first time, you're not going to ask them to marry you on the first date, right? So it's
exactly. Yeah,
kind of the
yeah,
same thing.
exactly. Mhm.
So onwards and upwards. You've been shortlisted 3 times for the Junior Nobel Prize, which is a highly prestigious recognition. How has this impacted your career, and what advice do you have for young professionals striving for similar accolades?
Mm. Well, first of all, thank you for the kind words there. I really am humbled to have had those awards and some of the other accolades that you mentioned at the beginning. Um, I would say to young people, especially if you're trying to build your career, maybe trying to become a founder and entrepreneur yourself, is definitely start leveraging and building your network as soon as possible. So start building those connections, start building those relationships. Myself, I've been building those relationships for many years now, particularly on LinkedIn, which is a great space for obviously networking and getting to know people, communicating, having those get to know conversations in the DMs, having a meeting with people. And that will really stand you in good stead, because too often people, they'll get frustrated with their job and they think, oh, I'd love to be more free, I'd love to be an entrepreneur. And then they look around and they realize that actually they haven't got connections, they haven't built relationships, they don't know who to reach out to. And that's when they start becoming desperate again and start pitching people, etc. If you started creating that content now and you've actually built a name for yourself in a certain arena,
Sure.
opportunities will come along naturally for you. So build those relationships, because there is that time lag, and you'll find that actually if you start to build relationships when you need them, it's too late. Build relationships before you need them. It's your ultimate insurance policy in life, particularly as an entrepreneur, is relationships. People will refer you. If they don't want to be a client themselves, they'll know somebody else that might benefit from your service. They might know a great podcaster that you can go on their podcast and introduce your knowledge that way. So build relationships, and opportunities will definitely come your way.
Absolutely. I think it goes along with the old age saying of you have to dig your well before you get thirsty.
Mhm. Absolutely.
So we'll wrap it up with this last question. With the continuous evolution of social media and professional platforms like LinkedIn, how do you see the future of personal branding, especially in the digital space? And what trends should we be preparing for?
Mm. Yeah, it's a great question, because, as I say, content is so valuable. But obviously, we've got now these trends of AI and Chat GPT and all the rest of it, and ultimately, that's going to make people more the same at a time when there's a premium on being able to stand out.
Right.
So obviously, in a crowded space, you need to be able to know how to rise above the noise, how to differentiate yourself, how to have a USP, and also a unique value proposition, a UVP. And in my argument would be that actually ChatGPT and these sort of other tools to do with AI are actually going to make people more similar and obviously less human. So the more that you can start to differentiate yourself and actually stand out on a human level, I think that actually that's going to be a huge differential going forwards in a world where content is going to increasingly start to look the same
Mhm.
and in many ways unhuman and quite cold. Things like storytelling and your personal brand, your own backstory, being visible, being willing to share your experiences, maybe appearing on video, anything that you can do to get your authentic message out into the world. The more that it becomes automated and cold and more dense and harder to stand out, I
Yeah.
think that actually those human to human elements, rather than just business to business and business to consumer, that H to H, that human to human, is going to be absolutely vital in the digital space going forwards.
Absolutely. Yeah. The power of human connection, right? It still has to
Um,
be there.
yeah.
Absolutely. So I think we can all agree that this has been an absolutely enlightening session that we've had with Mathew Worboys today, and that his insights and strategies are certainly paving the way for professionals to leverage LinkedIn and to take their personal brands to new heights. So if you're looking to transform your career or business by breaking into that top 1%, then Mathew and his team are the ones you need. Be sure to connect with Mathew on LinkedIn, and I'll have all his contact information in the description of this video. And that way, you'll be able to stay up to date with his valuable content and insights. And as we wrap this up, let's take a moment to appreciate the power of personal branding, and remember to keep refining and showcasing our unique value to the world. Until next time, please hit the like button, subscribe, and continue to hang out for a living. See you on the next episode, everybody. Thank you again, Mathew. Bye bye.
So much. Bye, everyone.